Hello again. So continuing our conversation on distance, rate, and time, which actually translates into cost, number of units, and rate. Also, it's how to figure out the cost of a certain item, okay, or how much you will pay for a certain item that you know the cost of. So this again is we are looking at a algebra problem. So we have certain information in these problems, but we're missing some information. Okay, so we know that 10 gallons of gas cost $30. So we know that the total cost is going to be $30. My red pen is going out. The total cost will be $30. The number of units is for 10 units. So it's 10 gallons. Okay, what would be the rate per gallon? So to do this, we're going to have to do our C over N equals the rate, okay? Because we know the total cost, we know the number of units, we don't know how much per. So this would be 30 divided by 10 gives us $3 per gallon. In what state this is, I'm not sure because it's more than $3 per gallon here in California right now. But this would give you an idea of how to figure that out. Okay, so let's look at the next one. So I charge $1,000 for cleaning 20 offices. How much do I charge to clean one office? Again, we have our C, which is the total cost, and that is $1,000. That was what I charged total. And we also have the number of units, which how many offices is that for? Okay, and that's going to be 20 offices. So we're going to do this one exactly like we did the one up there, and we're going to have 1,000 divided by 20, and that should give us 50. Let me double check with my calculator, and that is going to give us 50. So we charge $50 per office, $50 per office. Okay, so this is the same type of formula using the C over N equals R, which translates to the total cost over the number of units or divided by the number of units gives us how much per unit. Okay, so let's continue our conversation about cost, number of units, and rate. Now, this is going to be the same thing, but in a different format. Just like we changed that distance, rate, time formula, we're going to do the same thing here. So now we're going to change what we have out of the C, N, and R. Hannah wants to buy 6 oranges at a rate of $1.25 per. Oh, that's oranges or cucumbers. What are we buying here? Let's say they're oranges, okay? I just changed that from my sheet. So let's say we're buying oranges here. Okay, how much will it cost to buy 6 oranges at $1.25 each? Okay, so do we know the total cost? No, we don't. This is missing. Okay, we know the number of units because she wants to buy 6. And we know the cost, they're $1.25 each. So if we know that, our formulas to get the total cost will be N times R is going to equal C to get the total cost. So our N is 6, and it's going to be multiplied times our rate or our cost, which is $1.25. Okay, and for that, let's do our calculator just to make sure I'm not wrong. 6 times $1.25. It will cost her $7.50 if she wants to buy those oranges at $1.25 each. Now, as we look at the next one, it says a rose costs, let me get my screen back here. I lost my screen. Okay, we look at the next one. A rose costs $3.40. How much will it cost to buy a dozen roses? Okay, so we have our C, our N, and our R. Let me use a different pen here. Our C is going to be the total cost. We don't know that. That's what we're asking. How much is it going to be? Okay, we know that the rate is $3.40 per rose. And then we know we want a dozen roses, and a dozen roses equals 12, okay? So we're going to do the same formula, which is going to be your N times your R equals C, or it can be R times N equals C, however you want to write it, as long as you have it multiplying because you have this missing value, okay? So our N times our R, 12 times $3.40. And let's put this into the calculator, 12 times $3.40. and that's going to give us $40.80 for 1 dozen roses. So you can see how we have changed this formula. We did have the C over N equals R, and now we're doing the N times the R equals C, or R times N equals C. So we're going to change this formula to fit whatever needs we have, just like we did the distance and the rate and the time. Okay, so let's do our last section here. We're still dealing with cost, number of units, and rate, but now we're going to do our last formula here. Now, bus tickets are $2 each. I paid a total of $20 for my tickets. How many tickets did I get? So first, let's figure out what is our missing piece of information. I know that the tickets cost me total of $20. Okay, they cost me a total of $20. My pens are starting to dry up. Okay, and then the number of tickets. Well, I don't know this. This is what I'm trying to figure out. So that's my missing piece. Okay, and then what is my rate, or what was the cost per the ticket? Okay, and that was $2 each. Okay, so to figure this out, our formula for this is going to be C over R is going to equal N. So we have C, which is $20, divided by or over, however you would like to write this. I'm writing it out so that it makes it a little bit easier to put into the calculator, divided by our cost per, which is $2. That means that I purchased 10 tickets. I spent $20 at $2 each, and that gives me 10 tickets. Okay, so that's exactly how we're going to do this one down here. We're going to use our same formula here. C over R equals N. I'm baking cookies, which you guys know this isn't true because you know I don't bake. However, if I was baking cookies, I spent $30 on bags of flour. Each bag of flour was $5. How many bags of flours did I buy? Again, we know that the total cost was $30, okay, because that's what I spent. And we know that each bag of flour was $5. That's the rate. Each individual one was $5. Okay. And now I'm going to solve for the N, which is the number of bags, and that is 6. So I spent $30. I spent $5 for each bag of flour. I spent a total of $30, and that got me 6 bags of flour. So as you can see, just like with the distance, rate, and time, that these are interchangeable. As long as you know which one to put where, you should be able to solve these. So as long as you understand what the cost is, the number of units is, and the rate is, you can figure out which piece of information is missing, and you just plug them in there and figure that out, how to use them. Now, all of these formulas, you have a C over N equals R. You have a N R equals C, and you have I think it's C over R is going to equal N. Don't quote me on these right here because I'm doing these by memory and I'm really tired. But if you look in your book, you can see these formulas and how they're used and figure out which one that you need to use for this proper section. So just remember, we're just like we do with algebra, we're solving for that missing variable that we have. And your variable, the missing variable will change depending on how these problems are written. So you need to pay close attention to what they're asking. How many tickets did I get? Okay. Or how many bags of flour did I buy? Sometimes it might be how much does each bag of flour cost? Or it might be what did I spend total? Depending on how those questions are asked is how you're going to move these around. This is the same for the cost, and it's also the same for the distance. So I hope this helps. And until the next video, have a good one.